Dear students, I am just explaining you about some of the important questions that will be coming for your HCG 1 examination, that is History Civics examination of ICSE. Some of the questions, as I am one of the teacher of the History Civics, I would like to tell you some of the important topics that will be coming for your coming examination. So you can prepare on that way. I will be explaining only about the MCQs part, that is the 16 mark questions is there, no? So about that I will be just telling you, just listen to that. And here I'm just telling you from the first lesson, that is the Indian national movement. From that I'm just giving you 1857 to 1917. From that you can see this type of question. What did Nana Sahib do with the enormous wealth that he inherited from the ex-Peshwa? An example of coming together federation. There are options are there. He bribed the British officials in to win back his territory. He sent emissaries to establish traditional schools. He sent emissaries to different parts of the country and then instigated revolt everywhere. He encouraged the British officials to pay his pension by bribing them. So in this, option C is the right answer. You can see the option. Why this answer is the right one? Because Nana Sahib had inherited enormous wealth from the ex-Peshwa. He spent that money in sending emissaries to different parts of the country and instigating revolts everywhere. Then we come to the next question. Shifting emphasis from dash to dash was not well received by the people. Options: Oriental learning, Western education, Oriental learning, English, Sanskrit, Persian. In this you can see option A is the right answer here. Option A is the right one. Why it is correct? Why that answer only the correct one? Because the General Committee of Public Instruction 1823 was created to track the growth of education in India that was influenced by the Orientalists who favored Oriental education rather than the Anglican. And discuss about the growing employment under the British caused due to the 1857 revolt. Indian weavers and craftsmen could not complete the machine-made goods of the British, and thousands of the weavers and craftsmen became unemployed. The demand for the Indian textiles was reduced and the handloom industry was badly affected. So, dear students, make sure that some of the points in this answers, that when you are writing the answer, make sure that the key points are there in the answer. Not just writing the answer, but make sure that the key points of the answer is there. For example, here discuss about the growing unemployment under the British caused due to the 1857. So in this, mainly Indian weavers craftsmen, that you have already studied that one. And so for that purpose, you have to be careful about the main important points here, that is weavers and craftsmen and the machine made goods, and how they became unemployed. All those things you have to mention. See, after this, you see they lost the loss of a royal patronage for these weavers and craftsmen were lost because of the introduction of the this British made goods. All those things you have to mention. Then what was the General Service Enlistment Act? That is one of the another question that may be coming. So what is General Service Enlistment Act? It is an act introduced by the British in 1856. The year you have to mention very clearly. In 1856, it was passed by the British government, British Parliament. According to this act, Indian soldiers could be sent overseas. That is the very important point in that one. And in this, especially see this Brahmin soldiers. So this as the slander to their caste. And according to an accepted belief, it was considered that it was a taboo, that word also you have to mention, to cross the seas. This act disregarded the feelings of the Indian troops, which led to the feelings of the resentment among them. As a result, they were angry with the Britishers. So this you have to be very careful about. Discuss about the resentment of the rules of the native state against the British. So in this you can see that's one native rulers. So resentment of the rulers of the native state against the British. So what was that one? So last Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah. Okay. Lord Canning announced that Bahadur Shah's successor would not be allowed to use the imperial titles. See that one? Imperial. They were not allowed to use the imperial titles. Such discourtesy to the British, so Mughal emperor hurt Muslim sentiments. See that one? Muslim sentiments considerably. Then come down to this answer. Nana Sahib, in particular, Nana Waziz Ali Shah was deposed on ground that Awadh was not being managed well. See that one? This is another policy introduced by the Awadh. That is, Awadh was one of the province near Punjab that was not managed well, like that one issue was created by the British. And because of that, the annexation of Awadh was also a case of high handedness of the part of the company. The Nawab of Awadh had been loyal to the company for a long time. The British broke all their pledges and promises to the native rulers. This is what. So this is what they made the resentment. So that answer, that points you have to remember while you write the answers. Next lesson is the partition of Bengal lesson. In that you can expect this type of MCQs. Who gave the nation a four-pronged program: boycott, Swadeshi, Swaraj, and national education? Then the options are given: Dadabhai Navroji, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Mahatma Gandhi, Arvind Ghosh. In that, option A is the right answer. Option A. Why that answer is, so Dadabhai Navroji was the president of 1906 session. For the first time, he pronounced the word Swaraj from the stage. In the same session, Swaraj, Swadeshi, national education, and boycott, this 4-point program was unanimously accepted by the Indian National Congress. So this is the one of the important answer you have to be very careful about. Next one, you come to in which year the partition of Bengal was made by Lord Curzon. You should always know which is the right answer. So 1909, 1903, 1907, 1905. In this, option D, 1905. That is the year in which partition of Bengal happened by Lord Curzon. Okay, so that is the year of partition of Bengal. Don't forget about that one. That is one very important question. 1905. Always remember. Always remember this 1905 is a very, very important year for the partition of Bengal. Then come to the discuss the role of literary and cultural activities promoting to the spirit of Swadeshi. See here, Swadeshi boycott activities and all, no, that we have to remember that one. Swadeshi spirit witnessed the rise of liberty activities that fostered nationalism. This point is very important. Okay, songs, poems, popular dramas, novels, and short stories written by eminent writers like Ravindranath Tagore. Remember that names. Ravindranath, and it propagated the spirit of Swadeshi and nationalism. The newspapers like Kesari, see this one, this Kesari, and Maratha, okay, Kesari, Maratha, and Bande Madram, and Ugandhar. This fostered the new spirit of nationalism in India. These things you have to remember. Next question comes as here. What were Curzon's two real motives behind the partition of Bengal? Curzon's motives behind the partition of Bengal were: one is to curb the radical Bengali rationalists and thus to weaken the national. This is very important question. In order to weaken the nationalist movement only, this partition of Bengal was planned by Lord Curzon. Next one, and another one is to set Hindus and Muslims against each other. This is the 2 points that you have to remember. It may be a 2-mark question or 3-mark question. Maybe just listen. So 2 reasons why this Lord Curzon has made this. What was the motives behind the partition of Bengal? That may be one of the question that will be coming for the upcoming examination by tomorrow. So plan it well and write it. So 2 reasons: to weaken the nationalist movement and to set Hindus and Muslims against each other. Discuss about the measures taken by the British to crush the anti-partition movement. This is the next question. See here, this is in this at least 3 points you have to write down. So according to this one, government followed the policy of repression to stop Swadeshi and boycott movement. This point you have to remember, which was launched as a reaction against the partition of Bengal in 1905. The people and the local leaders were beaten mercilessly, by the soldiers, and hundreds of were put in the bars, behind bars. Meetings were disrupted and political leaders were jailed, and students were beaten, flogged and expelled. These points you have to be very careful about these things. Teachers and professors were threatened. Then British government followed the policy of divide and rule, tried to prevent Muslims from the joining Congress by following the policy of conciliation towards the Muslims. Colleges and the schools were warned. All these activities, just write down these things as this one. Okay, 2 lessons I have just explained in this module. Let us see in the coming modules.